Incidents is a web series created by the Creative Industries Television at the Vilnius Tech Faculty of Creative Industries, and I'm the founder of that television and also the managing producer currently. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the context in which the web series was created, and the context, of course, is the Creative Industries Television itself. So it was founded in September of 2018. And it didn't exist at the Faculty of Creative Industries at Vilnius Tech before I came on board, before I came on team. And it started with a module that I taught. It was called Introduction to Media. And as part of that module, all my students had to create podcasts and little web documentaries, little episodes, documentary episodes for the web, for the internet. And once and Victoria was there to witness all of those creations, and also the dean was there, and all of the dean's office was there to see what the students did, and they kind of wanted a continuation of that. They said, well, can we do something more with it? Can students maybe polish their work? Can they? Because for many of them, that was the first kind of interaction with this sort of production. So we discussed with students, with the dean's office, and then we came up with this concept, a project of the Creative Industries Television, which has been for the first 2 years extracurricular activity. So students could just choose it as a choir or a folk dance ensemble or an orchestra. But starting with the next semester, it's going to be an elective. So students from all the departments of the university will be able to choose it for credits. And we established this project. We established this department of Creative Industries Television with three main purposes. And by the way, in the slide, you can see the production unit, the mobile production unit that we own and we use for our productions. And the two people operating the mobile production unit is our wonderful technicians who have been helping you all this week to log on to the conference and consulting you. And for which I'm forever grateful to them. So first of all, what I noticed in my class is that the students were struggling with application and integration of knowledge. And we a little bit touched upon that in our plenary session when we talked about studies or education in our universities being siloed. So people study marketing, then they study screenwriting, then they study, comics, then they study animation, then they study finances. And they study everything kind of, separately. But the truth is that in reality, all of these things happen at the same time and in the most random order. And you as a professional or as a graduate of a department have to be able to apply this knowledge that you got in those siloed kind of portions at the same time and at the right moment and in the right order, right? And that was, and this is what I think the web series production and podcast production helps students, because they are divided into departments, they have to work together, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So but this is what they learn to do as part of that production process. They help to integrate everything they learn separately in their classes, and then of course apply it in practice. Another thing that we try to achieve in our Creative Industries Television is, of course, to help students learn in cross-cultural and interdisciplinary teams. Again, students come from different departments, from different study programs, from different years of their studies, and they're not terribly used to working with people who are not like them, or to working with people who maybe they do not completely like, right? Or people who speak, for example, engineers, or with creative industries people, or management people, with event engineers or something like that, right? So the paradox is that although they all study at the same university for 4 or some of them 6 years, they never meet. They have very few opportunities to meet, even though they will be working together for the rest of their lives. well, when they leave university. So our goal is to start this process of them working together as early as possible. And that's probably one of the biggest benefits that the students themselves see in this process too. And of course, for those students who really are really interested in television or podcast production and want to kind of continue down that path after their studies, they of course can build their portfolios. So our goal is to help the students build their portfolios so that they can have something to show to their potential employers. So these are the goals with which we establish the creative industries television. And I mentioned a little bit the working in teams aspect of this entire thing. And now I'm going to show you a little clip, a behind the scenes clip, which explains what I actually mean by saying that students have to integrate their knowledge and work in teams. Because this again was made by students. It's in Lithuanian, but it's subtitled into English. And you'll see what kind of teams and departments and the students are in and what kind of tasks they have.
Gal galėtumėte trumpai pasakoti apie šį projektą?
Projektas susidės iš daug trumpučių internetinių serijų, kurios visos mes tikimės bus juokingos. Ir pasiruošimas, aišku, jis visada prasideda nuo scenarijos. Reikia parašyti scenarijų, kad žinotų visi, apie ką bus istorija ir kas vyksta toje istorijoje. Tada mes pasiimam scenarijų ir mes žiūrim, kokių daiktų reikės, kokio rekvizito, kaip turi būti mūsų personažai apsirengę, kad jau mes vien pamatę, kaip jie atrodo, mes suprastume jų charakterį, gyvenimo būdą, jų vertybės.
Šiks.
Tada mes su dailininkė ieškom tos aplinkos, konstruojam tą aplinką, galvojam, kokius baldus parinksim, kaip juos sustatysim. Tada, aišku, vyksta darbas su aktoriais, nes tie žmonės, kurie vaidins tos personažus, tai jie vaidins ne save, jie vaidins kažką tai kitą. Jie turi išmokti įsijausti į tą personažą, visų pirma, jie turi suprasti tą personažą, kas tai yra per personažas, kas tai yra per žmogus, kurį jie turi perteikti. Tai vyksta repeticija. Tada vyksta kadruočių piešimas, tai jau čia darbas yra režisierių su operatorium, kada tu išskaidai visą filmavimą į mažesnius gabaliukus, į mažesnės tokias sceneles, ar ne mizanscenas, ir galvoji, kaip čia dabar perteikti tą istoriją, kad nebūtų nuobodu. Kine arba televizijoje tu gali kontroliuoti tą veiksmą, tu gali kontroliuoti emociją ir žiūrovo dėmesį kadru. Tai yra labai svarbu, reiškia nusipiešti tas kadruotės ir išsiskaidyti skirtingais kadrais visą istoriją. Tai čia yra pasiruošimas, tada reikia išsiaiškinti su operatorium, kokios reikės įrangos, tą įrangą irgi reikia surinkti ir tada jau reikia rašyti planuotes. Tai yra, kad jau kai mes nuvažiuosime į filmavimo aikštelę, mes labai aiškiai žinotume, kas po ko vyks, kiek pasiruošimų turėsim kiekvienam kadrui, kiek maždaug filmavimas truks kiekvieno kadro ir galėtume jau pagal tą planuotę dirbti.
So this is just a little bit of the behind-the-scenes process for those of you who have not been in production or in film or audiovisual production, to get an idea of how the entire process works. So students start the process from the very beginning. So our goal is that the students go through the very beginning of the process to the very end of the process, and then you know they know what the process looks like. They make the mistakes and understand their mistakes and know what they should do better and differently next time. So, but this very first project, so Little Incidents is a web series that is the very first project of our Creative Industries Television, and that was written and directed by me because it was at the very start and we didn't kind of want to spend too much time on script development, which we now do. Now students write their own scripts and they direct and produce by themselves, but this show was written by me. And in the slide, again, you see a little bit of our behind the scenes, you know, the kind of how our behind the scenes looks. And you see the synopsis or the log line of the web series. And again, because from working with students in different schools, I noticed that one of the most difficult things for students of high school is actually being able to work with people who are not their friends, not their family, who are different than they are, think differently, you know, and they see it as a drawback, they see it as a threat rather than an opportunity, a benefit, right? So I thought, okay, so maybe let's make this the challenge of our characters. Maybe our characters are, you know, they're egocentric, they're very kind of, you know, spoiled, they're very opinionated, but they are forced to work together or cohabit together or just do something together, and they cannot get out of it, right? So that was the premise of the show, and we wrote and produced this kind of sketch web series, the poster of which you see here, just behind my back, too. And then, you know, because as I said, I wanted my students to have something to show in their portfolio, we submitted this this web series to a few web fests or web series festivals, and it was selected by the Seoul Web Fest 2019 into their official program and nominated in 4 categories, for Best Editing, Best Sketch Comedy, Best Concept, and Best Creator. Now, and here's the prize that we won. So it's the prize for the best creator. But and this is maybe again what I should explain, what a creator does in television or in web series. The creator is a creative director of the entire project, because it's a lot of minutes and a lot of episodes. So the creator don't necessarily write or direct everything, but the creator comes up with the concept and then, you know, make sure that the concept is executed just the way she wanted. So for example, I could hire, I don't know, 5 screenwriters, 2 directors, I don't know, 2 associate producers, but all of those people are kind of, you know, not doing their own thing. They're doing, they're my like extensions of my brain and my body. They're helping me realize the vision that I have for the project. So that's the award that we received, and I just thought I would just leave, you know, just kind of end this presentation with the award acceptance speech. So that's a little video from Seoul, where I'm receiving the award, and that's kind of this moment that you know, I'd like just to share with you.
Thank you very much, the festival, my fellow creators, and everyone, my team who did this project with me. A teacher's job is to create victories for her students. So the work that I got this award for is really for the young and wonderful people who are my students and with whom I did this project. For many of them, this was the first time on the big screen, and they're very excited to be in this festival, and I'm very excited to bring this award for them because it's truly theirs. Thank you very much.
So yeah, so that's the little acceptance speech of the award. For those of you who are not familiar with the WebFest scene, so WebFest is one of the biggest and probably oldest and most kind of prestigious established WebFests in the world. And to me, really, this entire work is you know, kind of can be distilled into that quote that I, you know, said from the stage. And so where I said, you know, the teacher's job is to create victories for her students, because yes, on the one hand, we're trying to teach or transfer knowledge. That was the phrase used in the plenary session. But I think more importantly, we want to inspire and to empower. We want our students to have this feeling of accomplishment and feeling that they're capable of doing great things and even bigger things than they ever imagined they could do, maybe before or when entering our study programs or before entering our study programs. So that's my philosophy behind the web series. You can see on this last slide the way you can follow us on Instagram and YouTube. So on Instagram, we go by creative.television. On YouTube, we go by our Lithuanian name, but all of our content on YouTube is subtitled in English. So if you watched snippets of it already online, then you know that, right? So that's it. That's a very little introduction of what I wanted to tell you, the context about the web series. And if you have any questions or impressions or anything you would like to ask me or to share with me, I'll be more than happy to engage in a conversation with you.
So thank you, Aiste. Really very interesting presentation. So I'm sure that there are already questions. So maybe someone wants to ask. If not yet, so as moderator, having this position, I am very interested in this interaction during creative processes between the creator, main creator, and the other participants. How does it happen when you maybe are writing dialogues? Do actors participate? And about those, maybe you can tell more details.
Yeah, so thank you. It's a great question. Normally, because we did this in kind of a very short, I developed this in half a year, which is a very short amount of time for a even for a web series, which is short. You know, the episodes are much shorter than the like other series. But a lot of the beginning, so I engaged myself in ethnographic research. Okay, so I did. But first of all, I had this goal. I'm a practitioner of design thinking too, and I kind of talk about design thinking and apply design thinking in my work and consult on that. So first of all I had this call for for expression of interest. So we said, well, this is the new project. If you want to learn how to produce web series, if you want to learn about television production, come here and we're gonna teach you. We're gonna form a group and then we're gonna work together. And quite a few people, all of those people that you saw in the video, the behind the scenes video, responded to the call. They came to me. I had interviews with all of them, and once we did that, I started thinking what I could write for them so that they can shine in that role. And that's usually not the way it works in the professional TV series production, because usually you have an idea as a creator, you write the script, and then you're looking for actors that could perform the part, do the part. So with the students, you cannot really do that because they're not acting students. They're not studying to be actors. So, I cannot expect them to kind of deliver those stellar performances, right? So I was writing for them. So I met all of them before starting the script. I talked to all of them. I asked what they wanted to do, because not everybody wanted to be in front of the camera. Somebody wanted to be an art director. Somebody wanted to be an assistant director and all this kind of thing. Somebody wanted to shoot. Well, for this particular web series, we had a professional DOP, an editor. So, and then, once I met them, got to know them, I wrote the script for them. But that's, of course, only the first part. Then the second part is actually what we call in the industry a table read. So everybody got together, they got the scripts, and we read the scripts together. And once we read the scripts, we didn't have really a goal to kind of perform or just start acting right away. I just wanted to feel what feels comfortable for them, what they're interested in, and maybe something was too difficult for them, not quite their cup of tea. We discussed that, and then I would rewrite the scenes based on those discussions, and then we would move forward into production. So and again, in production, not all of the people, it's easy to say I want to be an AD or an assistant director, but if you've never been an assistant director, it's kind of difficult to get the crack of it or at it right from the beginning. So it's always like in this process, there's always teaching, and doing is a part of it. But I believe in this practice before theory approach. So I think that at first, I give them very simple practical tasks. They try to do those, and and once they do those, they understand what they don't know. And once they understand what they don't know, I can explain more, and they're more motivated and more eager to learn. But so it was like a very kind of, I started with this ethnographic approach, and I always kept them involved in that approach. So the script really, so the vision, the kind of final story, didn't change, but it kind of was a little bit modified, as we went along, because based on what the students wanted to do or could do or felt comfortable with doing.